Actually, we met in San Jose.
Yeah.
It was my first WrestleMania. She was working for Fox. I was doing like one of those media mornings.
Yeah.
And she interviewed me. And we just kind of like crossed paths. And that was it.
Okay.
And then we kind of like kept in touch like once every 6 months by DMs or whatever. Haha, nice to see you, whatever. And then about 6 years later, it was a couple of years later, maybe 4 or 5 years later, I said, you know what, there's something about this girl, I want to ask her out. So I asked her out. Well, I didn't ask her out, I asked for a number, because we were DMing, so I asked her for a number.
Yeah, you got to get out of that DMs. Yeah.
And she said no.
Whoa.
Yeah.
End of the
She
story,
said
guys.
no.
End of the story. There it is. Oh, man.
So I was like,
oh,
what
no.
the hell?
Okay.
All right, well.
Oh, wow.
But we kept DMing like for like another month or two. Like we were DMing like every day, back and forth. And then I finally like said, hey, come on, like give me the number, give me the digits.
Yeah.
We got to take this to the next level. And yeah, we never looked back. That was it.
Did you ever get an answer? Was there a gamesmanship in this saying?
Nah, she just said like I live in Mexico, you live in America, you're a wrestler, I work in TV, it's never gonna work.
Oh, she just gave up on it before.
Yeah,
before
she
it
was
even
just dismissive.
started.
Yeah, it was just too much of a stretch of an imagination.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And how long have you been together?
7 years.
Does she love what you do? Or she
appreciates what I do. She used to love it more when she wasn't with me.
Yeah.
Now she sees the risks and the injuries and like the effect it has on me, and she doesn't like it as much. But I think that's important too, because like if you have someone at home who's like a super fan, then I'm always Finn, right? And like you start to like feed your own ego, and then you just like lose the run of yourself. So I think it's super important to have someone at home that like helps keep you grounded. And like when I go home,
home is home.
Well,
right.
Home really now is like the airplane and the Marriott, because like we're on the road so much. Like I live in Miami. Miami doesn't feel like home. Ireland now, when I go home, which is home, and all my family are there. I've kind of been gone so long. Don't really relate to the environment there anymore. And like what I picture as home is like Ireland 20 years ago.
Oh,
like
wow.
Ireland's like evolved so much and like changed in those years. That like it'll always be home, but I don't sometimes feel at home there. But maybe it's just because I'm dipping in and out, because you know I'm only in there for 4 or 5 days at a time.
It's not the greatest term, but the carnival aspect of what we do kind of makes us a carny in a way where like everyone else has a home life, and we don't often, or sometimes we have seasons of it where we do, and then you get back into this and you get going full tilt. I asked in the sense of if she likes it. Just as I've gotten older, I don't bring to my home. I don't bring it back home anymore, which is wild, because I feel like everything career-wise it's such a wonderful season for WWE. Everything's happening. But a lot of times I'm asked, oh, how was it? And it's like old man style. It was good. Like there's so much behind it was good.
Yeah.
So much there, but I'd rather it not enter the space because then you never escape it.
Yeah.
You know, then you're always, and it's the same when it's, Liberty's 4, and we have stairs in our house. And that's okay. That's like my biggest challenge. Is seeing those stairs. Because I mean, anyone who has children knows that all they do is once you sit down, you have to get back up. There's a reason you have to get back up, and that's probably the most I'll ever need pre-workout in my life, is when I'm in my home. Like, because you don't want to be that. Like you want to be Papa or Dad who's on. None of the jobs, no big deal. I'm good. You know. But it's a wacky world we live in, and you've always loved it, right?
I've always loved it, since I was a kid, Pretty much like one of my earliest memories as a kid was watching World of Sport Wrestling with my dad and my grandfather.
Yeah?
And my grandfather was into the wrestling, but my dad wasn't into the wrestling. But at the time, wrestling was more popular than football, which you call soccer. So they would show the wrestling on a Saturday afternoon, and at the bottom of the screen it would flash up like the football results.
The scores, yeah.
Yeah. So my dad was watching it for the football, and my granddad was watching it for the wrestling, like Big Daddy. Giant Haystacks, Big Daddy, Kendo Nagasaki, all those guys.
Dude.
So that was like early memories, and then like kind of transitioned into WWE when Sky TV came to Ireland, and then that was like Ultimate Warrior, Hogan, Coco Beware was one of my favorites.
It's such a departure from Big Daddy.
I know.
You're talking Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks. Anyone who's not seen it, it's very short, but I'm not looking at the in-ring work as much as the crowd.
The crowd are going bananas.
They believed.
Yeah.
And Regal always would talk to me about Big Daddy, but I never saw it. And then one tour overseas, I just decided to start watching the Big Daddy stuff, and it blew me away. It was so vastly different from Crockett or WWE or WWF at the time. But again, I'm not making fun of it at all, because look at these people. Yeah. They are invested in this. Yeah. That's such a, when you think World of Sport, so I don't know if you know this, I'm kind of a World of Sport hater. Oh. But I'll make my admission to why. Yep. So wrestling schools all around the country. I have one now.
I know where you're going with this.
And I wrestled folk style wrestling and freestyle, whatever you call it, Olympic style wrestling as a kid. That's what I considered, I suppose, real wrestling. But then when you go to a wrestling school, chain wrestling is real wrestling. And this is the whole like hip, and you're doing, like really great stuff, like Davey Boy style. I'm using Davey Boy as an example, or like Dynamite, and all the things you can, really impressive stuff. And I kind of always frown like that. Are you emulating grappling? Are we emulating it? But really, internally, my full admission is that I just wasn't able to pull it off. So that's why I'm kind of a hater for the World of Sport style of the whole, not just the under the legs and some of the fun spots they did. They're very hard to pull off, these sequences.
I think they're very hard to pull off convincingly.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of it is emulated now, but really, really badly.
Yeah.
And that is where it looks bad.
So I think it's funny you say this. This is such a deep cut from a wrestler perspective, but you might agree. Chain wrestling done bad is awful.
Terrible.
I think chain wrestling and Mr. Perfect Bret Hart, the kicks on the back of the leg, are the two most I've seen tried to be redone spots in all of wrestling, never to the same effect. I know that's a very specific match, but I see it a lot with chain wrestling where it's like the hand up and the whole, that moment, and it's not giving me what I used to see with it, if that makes any sense. Maybe it's because it's not, maybe because folks don't know what you're doing in terms of what are you simulating.
Well,
right?
I feel like a lot of matches people see, they see like the pay-per-view match or the blow-off match, and there's been like a whole story arc up to that where they've done all these different sequences and edited them and like tweaked them and changed them, and it makes sense because of the story. Yeah. But people are emulating just the blow-off match.
Right.
Right? So like they haven't told the backstory.
Sure.
So it doesn't really make sense.
Well, it's a copy of a copy, in a way.
Of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy. Because most people are probably copying someone who copied it from someone in the 70s, who copied it from someone in the 50s, who knows.
You, growing up, favorite wrestler?
Grown up, like super young, would have been Ultimate Warrior, transitioned into Shawn Michaels, transitioned into Sean Waltman.
Oh, yeah. I got to get Sean Waltman story. So we just added this. Ben Brown, the archivist. This is WrestleMania 7, the trench from Warrior and Mach, and then Liz comes in the ring after. Also, we were discussing why he puts the trench coat on after the match. We don't know. Our theory was that maybe he thought that they weren't going to get it back to him. Sometimes our stuff goes missing or like got auctioned off or whatever. So he puts it on to run out.
Auctioned.
Like, I don't know. Or in my case, Bewit sells
my demon costumes have got auctioned off, I think.
That's you got to
disappear.
You got to keep eyes on that stuff, otherwise it's gone. Some people have sent boots. I remember for exhibits, and only one boot came back. There's a trading world for it all.
Yeah.